I recently spent a whole lot of time setting up my 2024 watch list because I have a really bad habit of being like, oh my gosh, I need to see this movie, and then never ever watching it because I forgot what it was. So over the past couple months, I compiled all the movies I want to watch, all the shows I want to watch, all the books I want to read to this big list. Well, two big lists, one for like movies and shows and one for books. And this past month, I cut them both down into things I want to watch or read next year. Or I guess this year. That's so weird. It's 2024. I think I want to make this into like a new series where after I watch something or after I read it, I'll make a video about it, like reviewing it, what I thought. So I'm gonna start with the watch list and then we're gonna get to the reading list. I'm also gonna be exposing myself here pretty bad because there are a lot of classics I have never seen, which is like, you know, it's whatever. But like, I want to be a director. I want to be in this industry. For me, this is embarrassing. Starting off with an embarrassing one. 10 Things I Hate About You. I have never ever seen it in my life. I feel like it's gonna make me sad. That's my thing with a lot of these movies. I put them off because I feel like it's gonna make me sad. Another good rom-com that I've just put off, 500 Days of Summer. I feel like I'm not gonna really have a lot of things to say about these while I'm going through the list because I haven't seen them yet. A Shop Around the Corner. I saw this at my local theater. They were showing it there around Christmas time and I never went to go see it, but I really want to watch it. We're at our first show on the list, and that is Adventure Time Distant Lands. I am a huge Adventure Time fan, which leads into our next one, Adventure Time Fiona and Cake. This is a newer one and I haven't seen it yet. This one I've been putting it off because I know it's gonna break my heart, and that is After Sun. The next one is All of Us Strangers. I don't think it's out on like streaming services yet, that's why I haven't seen it, but once it is out, I'm on it immediately. Exposing myself again. Never seen American Psycho. I know. I've seen so many clips from it that I'm sure I could like piece it together in my mind and I would have seen the whole thing. But I haven't sat down and watched the entire thing yet. This is another new one that was playing at that theater, and it's Anatomy of a Fall. Let me tell you right now, the poster for this movie is the best marketing I've ever seen, because you see something like that, you're like, oh, I need to see what this is about. I need to see what's up. I've never seen Beautiful Boy. I really haven't seen a lot of Timothée Chalamet movies, which is kind of shocking because I just saw a video about like all the movies he's been in. I was like, oh my gosh, he's been in like everything. But I haven't seen a lot of his movies. I just watched Call Me By Your Name like the end of last year. I've heard so many good things about Beef, that new like, I think it's a mini series. I've never seen Black Swan. I haven't. The director is incredible. I think he's the one who made Requiem for a Dream. He made one other that I can't think of. Hold on. The Whale. He made The Whale. What? I didn't watch Bottoms either. There are a lot of classics I haven't seen, but there's also a lot of new movies that I haven't seen that people talked like so well about. This next one I already started. I'm on episode 4, but that's Community. It has like 16 seasons, so it's gonna take me a while to get through. A lot of you guys are gonna come at me for this one, but I haven't seen Dead Poet Society. Listen. I know the plot, okay? I've seen clips, I've seen a bunch of stuff. For Christmas, my mom got me the book, which means I have to read it before I watch the movie, obviously. My mom just texted me. That was crazy timing. I saw one episode of it, like, I think a year after it came out, like pretty early on, and I never watched the rest of it, and that is Defending Jacob. This one is Detachment. I just heard it was like, you know, psychological. I was like, okay, add to list. Another newer one is Dream Scenario. I've heard crazy things about this movie. Somebody recommended me Drive with Ryan Gosling. I was gonna be like, this one's a little more underground. That makes me sound like I'm trying to be like better than everyone. It's just like something I had never heard of, and that's End of the Spear. It's a documentary that actually this one woman I work with, she watched it and she was telling us about it. Another rom-com. Who's surprised? Not me. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I feel like seeing Jim Carrey in like a rom-com movie is gonna be a little different, because like when I think Jim Carrey, I think like Ace Ventura. Like I don't think rom-com. Everything Everywhere All at Once. I feel like a poser right now. I've never seen it, but everything I've seen is incredible. I've seen some clips. I've seen audition tapes, and I haven't seen the movie. This is another recommendation. I really like bold lighting and bold colors in movies, and I was talking to my friend about that, and he was like, oh my gosh, you should watch Fallen Angels. And I never watched it. I'm gonna watch it this year. I'm gonna get it done. Fight Club. I've never seen Fight Club. This one's funny. The Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Everyone and their mom went to see this, and I still haven't seen it. I hate going to movie theaters. It's just such a commitment. Like, you have to sit there for 2 hours and you can't pause, you can't go to the bathroom because the movie isn't gonna pause for you. So I wait till things come out on like streaming services, and then I sit at home and I watch them. Fleabag. I have been looking forward to watching this for so long. And I think it came out last year, if it's not coming out early this year. This was a recommendation from somebody who works at the local theater I've been talking about. That is Girl Picture. I don't know a lot about it, but she talked very highly of it, and when she said the movie name, like 3 people turned their heads. I was like, okay, I gotta watch this. Girl Interrupted. Never seen it. What is wrong with me? This one I'm so excited for. I think it came out yesterday, actually. Good Grief, directed by Dan Levy. Everything in my heart and soul, I love him. And he directed this and he's starring in it. I'm so excited. Good Will Hunting. I've heard amazing, amazing things. I've never seen it. This is kind of embarrassing. This is another one I saw. It was one of those, like, the movie's playing up top and then it's like Subway Surfers or something on the bottom. But it was of Hacksaw Ridge with Andrew Garfield. Next is Hot Fuzz, directed by Edgar Wright. If you've seen almost any video of mine, you know he is one of my favorite directors. He is all I talk about. I think this one's coming out this year, if it's not already out. But How to Date Billy Walsh. Am I only watching this because Sebastian Croft is in it? Yes. Another like drama miniseries that I want to watch is I Know This Much Is True with Mark Ruffalo. I have been wanting to watch this show for so long. I think you should leave. I've heard so many things about it. I've watched so many clips to the point where I quote it and I've never seen the show. This is so bad that I've never seen it. Inception. I've never seen it. This one I have been trying to learn more about, but I don't know a lot about it. And that's It's Such a Beautiful Day. It seems kind of morbid and it seems kind of like dark. And I'm like, okay, time to watch it. Next one is Jacob's Ladder. I haven't heard a lot about this. I just know it's a horror movie. I know it's from the 90s. And let me tell you, that is where some of the best horror movies have come from. This next one is really gonna make you doubt that I took French for a year and a half. It's The Beautiful Person in English, I think. Next one is Last Days. I mean, I'm sure you can tell by looking at it, but I read a bunch of stuff about it and it seems very heavily based on Kurt Cobain. Another Edgar Wright one that I haven't seen, Last Night in Soho. Lost in Translation, I haven't seen it. Another one I've heard is gonna just tear my soul to shreds, Manchester by the Sea. Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. I have a very like vague memory of reading the book back in early middle school, and I remember liking the book. So maybe I'll like the movie. I don't know. This next one is another foreign film, which is why I can't find a lot on it, but it's Monster. It was made in 2023, but I've read it's another thriller. It's like a drama mystery type deal. I've never seen Moonlight. I know. I'm pretty sure it was the first LGBTQ plus movie to win, I think it was Best Picture at the Academy Awards, which is like literally legendary. Like, that is so cool, and I've never watched it. Next one is My Own Private Idaho. I guess we are gonna be watching all the Gus Van Sant movies this year. I didn't even realize how many of his movies were on this list until literally right now. Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. Only watching because Michael Cera's in it. And I'm not sorry about that. No Hard Feelings came out last year. I love Andrew Barth Feldman. I've loved him ever since he was Evan Hansen. Like, he's so talented. This one is Normal People, which I'm reading right now. So once I finish reading it, I'm gonna watch the show. 1 Hour Photo. I saw, again, a clip on Instagram of it. It's been like in my notes app ever since, but I never watched it. Next one is Oppenheimer. I didn't watch it this year. I've read about it and it honestly does not interest me. I'm sorry. I've heard a lot of good things about it. It's not intriguing to me, you know? But I also feel like I'm like letting myself down if I don't watch it, so I'm gonna watch it anyways. Somebody I follow on Letterboxd watched Ordinary People, and from what I read, it's very sad, very grief-centered, but it's rated very highly everywhere I've read. And did you even watch a movie if it didn't make you cry? Like, that's the whole point. Parasite. I haven't seen it. I was watching, it was either the Oscars or the Golden Globes, but I saw it like win awards and I was like, this is incredible, I need to watch it, and I never did, and that was in 2019. I haven't seen Pearl. I've seen it all over TikTok. I've seen interviews with Mia Goth. Love her. Oh my gosh, wait. I can already mark this one off the list. Pen 15. I watched the entire thing in like 3 days. Season 1 is the hardest thing I've ever had to get through, ever. Like, I literally almost quit 2 episodes in. I could not do it. But then season 2, I can't even think of anything to say yet. I need to make at least one video about it because it's just so, oh my gosh. Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I haven't seen it. Oh my gosh. Another Jake Gyllenhaal one is Prisoners. I really have no commentary. I've heard it's good. I say that about all of these. I heard they were good, so I want to watch it. Rabbit Hole from 2010. Incredible cast. Again, it's one I've heard is very focused on grief, and it's also like a thriller. Okay, the next one is Rebecca, that I only put on the list because Lily James is in it, and I love her. Red, White, and Royal Blue. I finished season 2 of Heartstopper this year, and that was a recommendation I got immediately. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. I've seen the Scott Pilgrim movie. I haven't seen the show yet, and I just need to. Like, I just have to. Speaking of Edgar Wright movies, I guess that was a show, but Shaun of the Dead, never seen it. This is another one. I saw somebody I follow on Letterboxd. They watched it, and that's Sick of Myself. And again, with the poster cover, it draws you in, and I need to know what's going on. Next one is Stand By Me. It doesn't seem like a movie I'd normally watch, and I wish this wasn't the truth, but it was another one of those TikTok videos where it was the movie and then like Subway Surfers. This one is gonna be like a pretty quick watch. I think it's half an hour, but it's Strange Way of Life. The Bad Batch, I have not heard the greatest things about this movie, but the cast is so stacked, and it's directed by the director of A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. I almost messed up the title. The Bear, I haven't seen it. So many people in like my little film groups have talked so highly of it, and I just haven't watched it yet. The Edge of 17, I think I watched it a couple years after it originally came out, but I don't remember like any of it, so I'm making myself rewatch it this year. Next is The Great Gatsby. Again, I watched it a few years ago. I just reread the book a couple weeks ago, and I just saw a performance of it, so to like complete the trio, I guess, I'm gonna rewatch it. This title is so long, and I'll be honest, I don't know how to pronounce the second word, but we're gonna try. The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. I hope I did that okay. But again, Lily James, love her. The Holdovers. I've like almost watched this so many times, which sounds really weird. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I haven't seen it yet, and everybody's talking so highly of it, and I haven't seen it. Another new one that I've heard a lot of good things about is The Iron Claw. Another 2023 one is The Killer. Do I know what it's about? I would assume a killer, but I don't actually know. The Killing of a Sacred Deer. The Lovely Bones, which again, I've seen behind the scenes, I've seen clips of it, I've seen video essays, and I haven't sat down and watched the whole thing. The Social Network. The Talented Mr. Ripley. This is embarrassing. I've read a lot about it, I've seen so many clips that again, I feel like I could piece it together in my head. But The Truman Show, I've never watched the full thing. The Usual Suspects. The Wolf of Wall Street, I've never seen it. Another Edgar Wright is The World's End. I just finished this one actually a couple days ago. It was my first movie of 2024, and it was The Worst Person in the World. It's so strange. It's very strange, and I loved it. Theater Camp with Ben Platt. I never watched Tick Tick Boom, which is kind of embarrassing for me. Tokyo Vice, Trainspotting, Vertigo, Villains, What's Love Got to Do with It? The last two are rom-coms, again, that I haven't watched, and that's When Harry Met Sally and You've Got Mail. Okay, we're gonna move on to the reading list as if the first portion of this video wasn't the longest thing in the world. So I'm editing right now. I think that portion's only like a little over 10 minutes for you guys, but I sat there and talked about each movie for so long. That entire portion was an hour of footage. I don't even remember talking that much when I filmed it. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. This list is a lot smaller, don't worry. Mainly because watching movies takes like 2 hours. Reading books can take up to like a week. A lot of these are graphic novels because they're easy. I have a problem with graphic novels, actually. They are some of my favorite books to read, but like, they're still books, so they're priced the same way normal books are. So I'm paying, you know, 15 to 20 bucks for 30 minutes of reading, and then it's over. But the first one is A Gift for a Ghost. The next one is A Midsummer Night's Dream. I am like a diehard Shakespeare fan, which is like kind of embarrassing to say. And he's incredible. That's not why it's embarrassing. But I feel like it's very theater kid of me. I've already read it, but I just got this physical copy, so I'm gonna reread it. A Study in Drowning, which has the coolest title ever. It has the coolest like cover art ever. Acting Naturally, the Magic and Great Performances. I didn't remember what it said. It's just about actors and their like performance secrets, just some of their stories, and I'm very excited. A couple of these also go with movies I want to watch. So one of them is American Psycho. This is another one that I want to read it before I watch it, but I also want to watch it so bad. Another book that goes along with the movies, Beautiful Boy. I'm pretty sure Beautiful Boy is a non-fiction book, which I'm a little nervous about because I know it's gonna tear me up, but that's okay. Another graphic novel, Beautiful Darkness. It's super short, it's like 94 pages, but it looks really pretty. This book is so cool. I've flipped through it a little bit. I haven't actually read it, but it's behind the screens and it's like the blueprints of sitcoms and like movie sets. Call Me By Your Name, because I watched the movie and now I feel like I have to read the book. Cinema Speculation by Quentin Tarantino. I definitely want to read more books about filmmaking, and I'm like, what better place to start than from one of the greatest directors of all time. This next one is also a really quick read, and it's Crush. I think it's only like 80 pages, so it'll be Very easy, like, check mark off the list. Like I said earlier, Dead Poet Society. The next one is Every Last Word, which I've read is about this girl with OCD, just like one of my other favorite books, Hurdles All the Way Down. John Green is one of my favorite authors of all time. I have read literally everything he's written. This one's got a bit of a dark title. Everyone in this room will someday be dead. Listen, that sounds very morbid, but I've read a lot of good things about it. Some people say it's like genuinely funny, and I feel like it's hard to find genuinely funny books. So we have Inside the Criminal Mind. I got a lot of these books for Christmas, so thanks, Mom. I'm super duper into criminology. That's crazy that those two words just went in the same sentence. Super duper and criminology. Letters to a Young Poet. I've heard so many good things about this. Next one is Lie With Me, which I've read is like historical fiction, which is incredible because I love historical fiction. Loveless by Alice Oseman. I have read so many things she's written. I actually have a stack of her books. So I have all 5 Heartstopper books, and then I have Solitaire and This Winter. I love her stuff. I have read everything she's put out on Webtoon, except for Nick and Charlie. I haven't read that yet. But I haven't read her like other stuff, so I think I'm gonna start with Loveless. Ironically enough, next on the list is Nick and Charlie. Another graphic novel called PTSD. I saw it in a library and the cover art was so beautiful. Swimming in the Dark, which is another quick read. I think it's less than 200 pages. And it's another historical fiction one. This one's a more of a dystopian one, but it's tender as the flesh. I've heard so many good things about it. The title sounds a little horrifying, but what good book isn't? The Heartstopper Yearbook. I guess I haven't read that either. Power of the Actor. This year I wanted to read more filmmaking related books, more acting related books, so Mom got me that one. The Push is another very dark thriller book, I guess. The Sad Ghost Club, another ghost one. The Trouble with Being Born. I saw somebody reading this like freshman year, and I remember asking him like what book it was. He's like, you don't want to read it. I was like, oh. And ever since then, I wanted to read it, so I'm gonna read it this year. Romeo and Juliet. And yes, of course I've read Romeo and Juliet. I've seen it performed a bunch of times, like it is one of my favorite stories ever. But my mom just got me this copy for Christmas, and it comes with like pictures. Next is War of the Foxes. I saw it on Amazon and just knew I needed to read it. And then last year I watched We Need to Talk About Kevin, so this year I'm gonna read the book. This was on the list, but I read it a couple days ago, and you wouldn't think a book of 54 pages would like have an effect. I had to sit in silence for a little bit after reading this. Oh my god. It's by the same author who wrote The Song of Achilles, which I also recommend and will recommend until the day that I die because that book was incredible. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video wasn't like insanely long. It probably was. Sorry about that. I want to hear what you guys are reading, what you guys are watching this year, so tell me in the comments. And I hope you guys are excited for the series coming, where I'll just review whatever I read or whatever I watched. And I'll see you guys next time. Foe. I think it came out. Wow. Okay. Oh, dang, I thought he was done.